disrupted.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. So while the rest of the world was blinded by all the Trump trial coverage, I thought we'd take a look at what the rest of the criminal class was up to on the day in question, because this appeared on the CBS Evening News.
Tonight, CBS News has learned that President Biden has quietly given the go-ahead for Ukraine to launch limited airstrikes with U.S. weapons inside Russia. Ukraine may use the weapons on the Russian side of the border near the besieged Ukrainian city of Kharkiv against concentrations of Russian troops, artillery, and planes. This is a reversal of the president's previous ban on such actions, and it could escalate tensions with the Kremlin. Tonight, CBS News.
So congratulations, everybody. We convicted a person of marital affairs and we got World War III. Yay! Accomplishment 2024. That's exactly what's leading down to. While you were blinded by the fact that, you know, a reality star banged a porn star and lied about it in hush money, this is going on right under your nose. That we're escalating to the point of nuclear arsenal, a thing that we have been saying since the start of advancing warfare with Russia, using Ukraine as cannon fodder, as the whole reason we want to stop this war from the get-go. That's the whole reason we want to de-escalate situations, because the more we advance warfare and militarily around the world, it's going to tarnish our national security to the point of no return. And it's already happening, folks. Because this guy here, Dmitry Medvedev, I don't know how you pronounce it, but this is the Russian Foreign Affairs Council. This is what they said. They said the current military conflict with the West is developing according to the worst scenario. There is a constant escalation in the power of applicable NATO weapons, and therefore, no one today can exclude the transition of this conflict to its final stage, which means nuclear weaponry. The final stage of war is nuclear arsenal. This is what we're advancing to. This is what they've wanted from the get-go, to the point of no return. Because they have no idea what the hell they're doing. They're further escalating the tensions while it's damaging ourselves within this war. And they're further going down the barrel to the worst case scenario. So here's this guy, Eric Weinstein, who's way, I think, more intelligent in this situation. He has stated, as I've said until blue in the face, no one has explained to the American people what we are doing. By the people and of the people and for the people, this is not. I have no idea, none, zero, zilch, about what the risk management plan is given to the thermonuclear risk and stakes. Anyone want to explain why this is our best move? Step right up. No wonder we're throttled. This is insane. Totally non-consensual. That, I think that means like censorship in that regard. That throttled point there. If this makes any sense, make the case in full. Explain it carefully using full sentences. I'm all ears. And the people that are screaming the loudest for this war have no idea what the hell they're doing. When Justin Trudeau tells a bunch of Canadians to shut the hell up because we got to support Ukraine, he has no idea what the hell he's doing. He has no idea the lives we're putting at risk by advancing this, and how damaging it is, not only just for Ukrainians, but everybody. It's damaging for this country. It's damaging for the national security of us back here in the West. The more we advance this aggressively, the worse we get in a position of no return, which is nuclear power arsenal. And that is what is happening, folks. And we need to retaliate, but they're not going to, because they are completely clueless of the measures at stake. So this guy responds. This is an interesting comment here. He says, "It isn't our best move because we aren't in charge. They are. And it's their best move because they're out of other moves." And that's how empires die, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at the Roman Empire, for example, how it dissembled into destruction is because they did not secure themselves. They advanced militarily to the point of no return, to the brink of complete annihilation, and they got destroyed. And it's happening right now. As he points out, the U.S. empire, whose currency controls the world, is bankrupt. We print $1 trillion every 90 days just to keep things afloat. And the number of days it takes to reach that amount will keep decreasing at a faster and faster rate. $1 trillion every 90 days. Think about that. Just to keep things afloat. They're printing money just to keep things afloat. We've reached a point where even if they raise the interest rates, they can't stem the dollar inflation because it will just cause the interest of the national debt to go up, which means they cannot stop printing because there's no tax rate in the universe that can collect enough to pay it. And trying that would cause peasants, pitchforks, and torches levels of discontent. So what they're saying is, if they tried to stop printing the money, or if they tried to tax people to recover that, there's going to be angry mobs. There's going to be people protesting in the street, overthrowing their entire system, which is what's leading down to. Raising rates will also choke off the economy, putting millions of people who depend on the debt to live in dire straits. And that leads to peasants, pitchforks, and torches. Failure for them. The only thing left, the only arrow that they still have in their quiver, is the tired old adage that war is good for the economy. And they don't care who gets hurt in the equation because they know that they are safe. We've spent billions and billions of dollars on things to keep them more safe in the event of the worst because they're more important than everybody else. And that is what you see all the time on any media outlet right now and for a long time, that all these politicians, the reason that they're going on television and lecturing you of how the country runs, how economies run, and why we need to go to war is because they're more powerful than you. They're a higher figure of authority than you. So they have to lecture the peasants into doing what their agenda is, because they're the ones that are at the top of the tier. So obviously they're more powerful and they're more knowledgeable of the situation, which they're not. The mistake everyone makes in this thinking that those in charge care about everybody else. Most people look at our leaders and some see a version of themselves. A little rugged around the edges, maybe. At their core, they're good people. They're human beings. And we've all fell for that. We've all fallen for that, to think that a politician or someone higher up in the top tier is just like us. We've all fell for it. I fell for it when I thought AOC was going to change things, or Tulsi Gabbard, or Bernie Sanders. We've all felt that way. And this is what I've been trying to say about this, is don't get fallen into that trap. Because that is how they want to perceive themselves. They want to perceive themselves as just one of the Joes, one of the regular boys, one of the regular people on the streets. But they're not. They're absolutely not. This is a mistake. They're not good people. They didn't get where they were. They didn't get what they are by being good people. They got where they are by lying, cheating, stealing, blackmailing, and in some cases, murdering. They got where they are because they're psychopaths, gaming a system built on to be run by psychopaths. Good people cannot get those positions because they're good people. They're not willing to do the things required to get there. In fact, most of them can't even contemplate the idea that someone would do those things. So they don't. They ignore it. And that's where you get the Trump derangement syndrome. That's where you get people that are so inclined with the political establishment, so people inclined with the Democrats or Republicans or Trudeau or Pierre Poilievre, they can't fathom the idea that their side is as corrupted as the other side. They can't fathom the idea that they're part of this problem. That it's not just Justin Trudeau. It's not just Pierre Poilievre. It's not just Joe Biden. It's not just Donald Trump. It's the entire system that's played you like suckers for all these years. But people try to ignore it. And that's where you get people name calling and trying to silence out other political opponents. That's what they're trying to do with Donald Trump. They don't want to hear the other side of the story because they know that they're getting deceived into siding one side of the exact same oligarchy that's screwing everybody. As a result of decades of this, we're being led by people who rather rule over ashes than admit the truth and deal with a failed system because that would make them a failure personally. And for a psychopath, that's not an option. Wow. That is an amazing point to be made from this guy. I don't know. What's his name? DBG8492. Like a Star Wars android. But he's made it perfectly clear that we live in a globalistic oligarchy, that we do have a deep state, that the people in control of us are empty. They are moralists. They have no ethics. They have no respect. They have no intention of serving anyone but themselves, because these are psychopaths. These are sociopaths. And the reason they got into the power position is because they were able to market themselves as psychopaths for the state and for the establishment. Because good guys don't get to the positions that they are. You're never going to see a good guy that's part of the WEF. You are never going to see someone with ethics and morals and values being the head of BlackRock, because that whole organization is corrupted. That whole company, that whole institution, the whole NGO is completely massively corrupted. And the only people that serve in a massively corrupted institution are the psychopaths that want to self-serve themselves, because they have no obligation to serve you. And that is why they are doing everything, including annihilating the population, to make sure they're not called out for being failures, that they can hide away with their shame that they should be having. They can hide away and not get personally called out for the people that they are. That is why they're censoring people. That's why they're locking people in prison. That's why Julian Assange is still being tortured for being a journalist. That's why they're doing all the Trump trials. That is why the world that we're in right now, the psychotic, psychopathic, insane world that we're in right now, is because of this. It's because we're ruled by deranged monsters. These are inhumane monsters that have no sympathy, no soul, no respect, no intention, no obligation to serve anybody but themselves. And they will stab each other in the back and take this whole entire planet down to get to the top, including, at last resort, nuclear warfare, which is what people have been warning us about for many years. That if we continue down this road, we will end up at a place of no return and will wipe out the entire human existence. Because there's nothing after nuclear warfare. Once we get into it, it's over. It's done. So we need to call this out before it's too late. And we need more people to awake to this, to realize this, to open your eyes, to realize that you are being played. You're being played like fools. You're being played like cowards. You're being played by these psychopaths that rather want to destroy this entire planet and everything on it than admit that they're flawed and admit that they screwed up. Admit that they are the problem that brought us to the brink of where we are right now. They are psychotic, blood-curdling monsters, and they don't deserve any respect from any one of us. They have no obligation to.